Hi Sagittarius, here is a general look at your solar chart for July 2014, and this is quite a significant month because we're getting two major moves coming from the planets, which have been in quite long cycles. But first, here's the overview, and that's information gathering, digging and delving and weighing things up, but also making connections. These are going to be key themes. You'll be bouncing ideas around, juggling ideas, and there could be, I don't know, some harking back to the past, some nostalgia every now and again. But close working and working liaisons and association of personal relationships do look productive. You know, you can do better teaming up with somebody, whether that's just fleetingly or more, you know, longer term relationships playing very much a part here, and are very well starred all month. After the 23rd, with Jupiter entering Leo, a fellow fire sign, and the new moon in Leo on the 26th. You should be feeling enthusiastic, optimistic, motivated. You feel that there's lots of potential. There's lots of potential, particularly in that last 10 days there. And from the 26th, you might be in the mood to launch into something which will expand your life into exciting new areas over the months ahead. So watch that space, but do keep it real, Sagittarius. And really listen to your intuition this month. For most of the month, it's very strong. The energy, in fact, the whole month, it's pretty strong. And, you know, you can be influenced in your thinking by what somebody else is thinking or saying to you. But, of course, as we know, we have to take it with a pinch of salt, especially you early Sagittarians who've got this smoke and mirrors, this cloak and dagger energy coming across to your sign, those of you born with in the first 10 days of Sagittarius, or with 6 to 8 degrees rising. That's Neptune. But anyway, to get back to the sun position, so rather than thinking your way forwards, really, where the sun position is, there will be influence and there will be bouncing ideas around, particularly with people that you liaise with, you know, on a one-to-one, short-term, long-term, whatever. It's just this interaction, this one-to-one, you know, what can you tell me? The information, or actually you're giving them the information to work with, or they are the agent or go-between, you are the agent or go-between. You're sort of putting your heads together with somebody else. So yeah, and you're finding out a lot of stuff and you're keeping in the loop, but also you're working hard to keep certain others in the loop as well. And answers will come, you know, the final answers, you know, like the casting vote, should I say, will come more through that gut knowing, that sensing of the writing on the wall. Now, until mid-month, both Venus and Mercury and Venus a little bit later are in the area of close associations and collaborations and cooperative sort of, you know, interactions with others, and that's where you will be bouncing ideas around, but another will be holding the mirror up to you to help you to figure out and clarify your own ideas, and feedback will be really, really important, either from you or to you, and really asking around perhaps on something and getting more, getting genned up, you know, by asking, by finding people to speak to. Or maybe it's just some certain person or other to speak to, but one-to-one work is really strongly emphasized. and you may be in a relationship with someone whose guidance or information is you very much value, and also Venus is in that area there, so you could really hit it off with someone. I mean, you actually might meet somebody that you make a very, very strong connection with. You really like this person, or maybe it's like in a romantic sense as well. And all affairs of the heart are favorite actually for the whole of this month. But you can be feeling quite sensitive this month. You know, you're kind of a little bit kind of inward with things, particularly probably a little bit more in the second half. And you may be, you know, there may be this give and take going, and this rapport. You know, you are getting these little special nuggets of information from whoever it is, no matter whether it's a personal or professional association, but also they're maybe getting the advice, they're getting the nuggets from you as well. And you could just be enjoying each other's company. I think it's very likely that you will hook up with somebody, or maybe it's an established relationship, where you just kind of, you know, Venus tends to oil the wheels. This is one of her fave places as well. So she works really well out of a favorite place, and just harmonizes and helps you to really bond and get the best out of a relationship, whether it's a short-term working type one or a longer one. Then Mercury moves and moves into an area where you are, you know, it's the same area as the Sun, in fact, and it's where you will be, where thinking will be more gut-based, really, and realizations could spring from, you know, through guidance. You get guidance, you ask for guidance and you get guidance, but from a deeper place. And this may be about a relationship, or you may be pondering the financial position. You may be having musings about property. You could be sort of weighing it up around a deal or a contract or an agreement of some kind. Those sorts of things anyway, and it can feel quite intense. Yeah, it's sort of like there's a lot riding on this, and also you tend to need to keep your cards close to your chest. You don't want to blab just any old thing to any old body, as if you would anyway, but actually probably sometimes you would. No, that's not fair. You'd only do it because you've got a good heart and you need to keep people informed with the truth, you see. But no, on this occasion it will be like, okay, you know, it's a bit like a poker game. It could be, yeah. But just play with matchsticks. No, it could feel like a poker game. Now, Venus does come in there on the 19th, which kind of eases things a little bit. But I would say that that section there, when Mercury and the Sun are just on their own, colluding together in that quite intense, involved area, you should listen to your gut instinct and sense and feel a knowing and ask for guidance. But when Venus comes in there on the 19th for the rest of the month, then she tends to harmonize and bring in the balance. And actually, if you've got to be in negotiations over something from the start of the Venus transit, you could do okay. Or not as bad as you thought. But in general, she does sort of oil the wheels and yes, and balance things out. Now, if it's about a relationship, this is when it's no longer casual. You know, this is when it gets sort of deeper. It's touching you more deeply. It's more involved. It's more intense. It's more sizzly. So it can be like that. So. But it also tends to bring in the balance to your emotions, so that's really, really nice. And Venus here also could manifest as you shifting on a feeling level, on a gut level, really, into more commitment and decisiveness on something or other. Because it seems almost fated. Sometimes that's what it feels like, this area here. It seems like inevitable. It's like a no-brainer. Of course I would, you know, but on the other hand, it is quite an emotional area. And so you really do have to watch that your thinking isn't emotional knee-jerk response thinking, that you are being realistic, because there's a little bit about not being realistic this month. Excuse me. Okay, so, but new potentials are definitely in the wind, especially you'll feel those blowing in from the 23rd. The sun then goes into a more upbeat, outgoing, extrovert area, which is more to your liking, Sagittarius, and tends to boost your spirits because you're just eating the air, promise crammed. With all sorts of new possibilities, and maybe, you know, this is where the unrealistic bit might be coming in, not just for early Sagittarians as well. I'm kind of joking a bit about that, because actually this is a very expansive energy. It kind of is a lifting energy, so you should be getting out of the routine box. You should be taking a trip. You should be signing up for something and learning, you know, how to dance salsa. You should be doing something new, okay, because the energies very much underpin and support that. And the distant horizons do beckon, but also you will tend to be able to get like this bigger picture on something. And now, until until the 26th, Mars is still in quite a progressive area of your chart, meaning finally the ball can be rolling on things which you've been waiting to do for ages, maybe years. And that's been in your sign. That's been in that segment of your chart since last November, December. So a good 7-month stint there of getting cracking with things that have waited on the back burner for ages, and feeling a bit, you know, in demand, and a bit like, you know, having to work quite hard physically sometimes to do it, when that degree of Mars sort of was kind of beamed in and out of a connection with an important planet or the sun in your chart. Now Mars is about to move, and on the 26th, Mars moves out of there into a background area of your chart, and will stay for 7 weeks. And now this area is what I call the cocoon. It's kind of the chrysalis, where the, you know, the beautiful butterfly is taking shape and growing. It's kind of a bit mystical and otherworldly, this area as well. It's sort of like amniotic fluid. It's kind of got this connection with higher consciousness, but also a consciousness which doesn't, you know, have a brain or eyes or ears, or, you know, it's like expanded infinite consciousness, this area here. But it's also about other things, about, you know, working quite hard, pulling strings from behind the scenes, or just being the support that's holding things up and helping others. Being, you know, the humble servant, because the situation just demands it, and you know, you're there, so roll up your sleeves and get on with it and do it. But it's also this other area. It's an area of imagination, using your imagination to sort of take yourself off into other worlds. So Mars is going to be here, and it's going to be here for these 7 weeks. It can lower the vitality a little bit, because it's a very inward driving energy, and Mars naturally is an outward energy. So in this area here, it turns the physical energy inwards. So okay, do yoga, you know, swim, play with dolphins and whales, you know, meditate, do mindfulness, which is the latest word for meditation, Tai Chi, you know, do all that sort of, you know, write the book, do the channeling, and nurture, nurture, nurture. Go for lovely walks in beautiful places, you know, or as beautiful as you can find. And, you know, even though it is an area of support for others, it is also the area of support for yourself, because it's an area of support. So, not got an opinion about which way that support runs, you know. It's an area of higher service, but there's no opinion about which way that higher service goes. So perform the higher service for yourself, or put yourself in the hands of somebody else. Sort of lay back and allow them to sort of, you know, do some pampering for you, or massaging, or whatever it is. But because your energy are turned inwards, you are more easily influenceable. It's as though your auric field is just that little bit more permeable at this time. So you have to put in stronger boundaries, do that deliberately, make up your mind to do that. And then you can use this energy in a nice balanced way to regenerate and recharge your batteries at the same time as being there for others. Now, last but by no means least is the move of your ruling planet Jupiter, which is happening on the 16th of July. And Jupiter has been in a joint financial area. It's been in an area which actually isn't too bad at all, not making hugely strong aspects to your sun sign, but still it's not half bad to have a helper like Jupiter in a financial area, joint financial area. But now Jupiter is moving on into an area where it's making a stunningly strong aspect to your sun sign for well, until August 2015. So you can do a lot with this one over these many months, and of course it will swing in and out of the degrees where it's going to be most amplified and active. It's not going to be switched full on. It's like on a dimmer switch, you know. All of the planetary aspects are like that. They're sort of on a dimmer switch. They get very, very strong sometimes, and then they dim down, but they never go off, of course. And you could find yourself, your mental territory expanding, your area of learning, expanding, learning, you know, through a different culture, or through academia, training, through travel, through this is the area of broadcasting and publishing things across a wider stage, but also this is the area of finding that special teaching or teacher, or being that special teaching or teacher for others. So it's a great vibration for beating the drum on something across a wider stage and getting involved in something which is going to teach you a huge amount, and your known world is going to stretch into new territories. And I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of in the early part of the month, there's Mars and the Sun just crossing across Uranus, so feeling a bit on the edge of your seat, feeling like you've got to keep your wits about you. You have to be adaptable, and you're a very adaptable sign, so you can do that. Standing on your head, but I wouldn't advise standing on your head, because, you know, it's get a rush of blood to your head. So, but just be as flexible and adaptable, because the unexpected is possibly where the treasure is. Very likely is where the treasure is. Or you set up something, or you're expecting, you know, it's like when somebody hands you a hot drink and you were expecting coffee and it turns out to be tea. So even though you were expecting the hot drink, you didn't know it was going to be tea, you see. So, but yeah, it was good because you like tea. So yeah, probably herbal tea maybe. So whatever, you know, it is, but it's just got this feeling of very progressive feeling, but also it can make you, you know, you could be worrying about nothing, and then it turns out that it's nothing like you thought it was, and in fact it's even better than you thought it was. So it can be a bit like that energy, and the last 10 days look super duper uber cool, and that's when Jupiter is conjuncting the Sun. So very optimistic, very adventurous, very positive, and huge potential in those last 10 days, but keep it real. And that's it. If you know your rising sign and your moon sign, listen to those. If you want to check something out, it's all written up on my website, and I'll see you the next time.